The calculator.
Welcome everybody to my site about using public data for data analysis for marketing to influence business. I made this website with Google Sites. I use the HTML function of that to change the text right here, change it from just normal text like the rest of the paragraph to a bold face text like this public data thing here. I added a link to a Wikipedia page about the uses of public data. I added this italics. I used the rest of their hub to add these images. I used it to add this nice little animation here. You can see my face right here. The site is edited fully inside of the Google Sites hub. I used that to edit the text like I just said. I embedded things like these images, like this survey right here made by Google Sites. This website is stored via HTTPS, which stands for the Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, which is a secure way for the browser and the server to communicate. This works by decoding each individual symbol in the URL, which would be displayed up here. Not 100% sure why it isn't, to be honest with you. Once it decodes each individual symbol, the user and the server kind of interact. The user inputs the URL, the server transcribes it, and then once the full URL is decoded, the site is displayed. This is different from HTML or CSS. This whole thing is because if I were using just HTML or just CSS, I would have to code these images in myself, and I'd have to code in the style sheet in by myself, rather than using the tools that Google Sites lays out for me. Since Google gives me so many options for like these tabs to add up here, this banner with my logo, this nice animation right here. Yeah, so it makes it a lot easier to do that. My logo here, shown in the upper left-hand corner with this public data and this arrow with the trend bar, or the trend bars. This was made in Pixlr, P-I-X-L-R, not 100% sure how to pronounce that. The logo was found on Google Images. Just a quick search for data showed me these trend bars with this arrow upward showing progression. And then I added the text using Pixlr. Added this black and blue color to match the black and blue of the logo I found, and the animation was made, or the banner was made in the same way. I took the logo that I made previously with the public data attached to it and added text to that using the same blue color and black color to add my title, the use of public data to influence business, and my name, Griffin Andrews. The animation right here, which I already talked about a little bit, was made on EasyGIF.com. I put together these three images, my logo, data going through someone's brain, and this great picture of my face here, with about a second in between each of them. And then once you input that on the website, it puts them together, makes them play on a repeating loop in a GIF. Moving along the website here, I've got a bunch of tabs up here. We'll get through all of them. And the search bar, first we'll go to purpose. Question A, prompt A here, is to indicate the name of the innovation and provide a clear description of its intended purpose, such as the problem that the innovation solved, the opportunity that the innovation created, or the discovery that the innovation made possible. The use of public data to influence business and marketing is what my topic was. The purpose of that was to create an advantage in marketing in the sense that you can see, who is interacting with your product. Sorry about that. You can see what demographic is interacting with your product, where they're from, what they like, their background to a certain degree based on their web searches, and then you're able to manipulate your marketing strategy to match that. So you can target the proper demographic to try to increase sales with your product or service. That was the purpose of this project. Moving on to the effects and impacts. First we'll start with this video that I embedded featuring me and my roommate.
Do you think businesses using public data can be beneficial for their product or service, and how?
Yes, I do, because they can use that data to find their target demographics and use that data to enhance their marketing and other aspects of their businesses.
Oh my God. Sanderson, come here. Look at how many hits we're getting in upstate New York. Do you think we should start targeting that demographic?
Absolutely.
Oh my God, we're going to make this product so much better.
It'd be foolish not to go there.
Yeah, so there it is. Just to give a little background on that video, I used PowerDirector 17 to edit that, as I am with this, and to screen record this. I used my iPhone X to shoot in the highest quality possible, just to make sure everything was recognizable and understandable. Inside of the video, I interview my friend, who is a business major with a focus in marketing, so perfect for this presentation, to see if he finds the use of public data effective when it comes to creating a marketing campaign and whatnot. And the crude little example I gave there with our product, the trash can, shows how the owner of a business can use the demographic information that he is given based on a report to change a marketing strategy to target a certain demographic, like I talked about previously. In this case, it was upstate New York was buying more trash cans. Let's target them with some sort of advertisement. Prompt B here was to explain a benefit and or a harmful effect of the innovation. The benefit of the innovation is quite obvious. It's to adapt a new marketing strategy. This can determine if a business is successful or not in the long run by influencing how many people buy their product or service. No harm. There's no harm really on the business side of things, since if this data is used correctly, it helps them make the right decisions moving forwards, as I already have alluded to many times. But personally, there is some harm, and I'm not going to get into that here because there's a whole prompt on that, but we will definitely talk about that a little bit later. Prompt C here is to explain the impact of the innovation, explain the impact that the innovation has had on society, economy, and or culture. This innovation has impacted society greatly, whether we know it or not. It's becoming more mainstream now that companies are using our data and tracking our every move, including our search history, our browser history, our cookies, anything it can really get their hands on. It's to provide more relevant advertisements, and we are, because of that, we are led into buying things maybe we don't need, but we're led into buying things more relevant to us, which impacts our society. It also drives our economy slightly. It creates competition with advertising, makes it kind of necessary to do this in a way. And also, every advertisement that we see is placed where it is completely on purpose with the effect to target as many people as possible, obviously, to get as much money as possible. Prompt D, excuse me, is to indicate one field other than computer science which this innovation has impacted or has the potential to impact, and to describe that impact. And the most prevalent impact that I can think of when it comes to using data to influence decisions is in the world of sports, and this became more popular in around, 2002, 2003 with the Oakland A's with the Moneyball thing. I'm sure a lot of people have seen that movie. This actually did change sports and the way that general managers and front offices think of things, because it used the data available to them to start making more economical and efficient decisions. And because of that, they were able to get, more of a bang for their buck. They're not going to waste money on talent that isn't going to live up to expectations. They're going to try to go bargain hunting in a way for talent that saves them a penny and also provides more on the field than, they're paying for, kind of. And because of that, and it's all by using public data available to everybody, because of that, the sports world is kind of flipped on its head. Now every single team is doing that, and every single team is doing that in terms of putting players on the field, in terms of their marketing strategies, ticket sales, everything. Okay, moving on to the technical aspects part of this website up here on this tab. Prompt E is to describe how a user interacts with this innovation, which is quite simple actually. The user would access an open source public database to be able to gather any information available to them that they may want about their business or a certain demographic or whatnot. Maybe not their exact business yet, if it's completely public right now, if they're a startup because they wouldn't have anything tracked. But information about the people who search for similar things regarding their business. In order to create a successful campaign, the user would use data analysis software after that, such as Excel or R or SPSS or you name it, to find regression or hotspots or whether or not they need to advertise to certain people or like what people they're supposed to be advertising to based on previous clicks and previous search history and all things just like that. Prompt F here is to describe in detail how the innovations technology incorporates at least one of the big ideas of abstraction, algorithms, programming, and or the internet to accomplish its purpose. And this innovation actually almost completely relies on the internet. It uses servers and software to fetch the data, and then it uses even more software to analyze said data. The internet is also used within the grand scheme of things as the medium for marketing. You know, the advertisers are placed to certain individuals based on their IP address and history to try to target that individual over the internet. So it uses Twitter, Facebook, any website really. Facebook's been in the news lately because of this, and data privacy. Again, we'll get into that in just a minute. Moving on to the relationship to data page. Prompt G is to describe the innovation, how the innovation consumes data as input, produces data as output, and or transforms data. And this innovation completely relies on data, as you can see in the name up here. In the name over here. It consumes data from browser history and search history to make a profile for each individual. And with that individual, it sorts it into specific demographics, and with that demographic, it sends out advertisements relating to what you enjoy or what you're in the market for. This gives the company an idea of what to market and when to market it and where to market it, who to market it to, like I've said many times, and it transforms this data from searches and search history into effective ad campaigns to make them money and to make their product more worthwhile for the user. Prompt H, I've talked about there, I've hinted at this, foreshadowed this a little bit. It's to describe at least one data storage concern, data privacy concern, or data security concern related to this innovation. Privacy is a pretty big concern when it comes to tracking public data because people want, some people might want to search what they want to in private and not have to worry about some sort of FBI agent tracking them down, or some sort of marketing campaign now targeting them to buy things that they may or may not need. The user is experiencing a complete breach of privacy, and there is definitely a problem with that. That is absolutely a 100% legit concern. To be able to transform search history into useful data, a company does need all of our search history, whether we may like that or not, because every little search matters and everything sorts you into your own individual demographic, even further into your profile. This scares people. It scares me. It should scare everyone, rightfully so, because a company could end up coming across data such as your social security number, your bank information, your credit card information, a lot of things that you don't want out there in the public. A lot of extremely secure information which only you should have access to, and that is scary, like I've said. But with a great innovation such as using this data to to create marketing campaigns, there are definitely downfalls, as with a lot of other innovations. And lastly, moving on to the references page, just 3 websites where I pulled some of my information from in these tabs. We'll talk about this one quickly, just because that was the last prompt, sorry. This is the website that I got a lot of that data privacy information from. This explains that data privacy is used only for its intended purpose. Like it says right here, in a world with ever-growing mountains of big data, privacy is an increasing topic of scrutiny. Like I just brought up, it says within this article that, some companies do maliciously use our data, and they're creating laws now to make sure that that doesn't happen. Like I said earlier, Facebook has been in the news lately for doing that. There's a whole bunch of laws written out in bullet points here, and there's a lot that has to do with staying safe in the world where all of our data is tracked. So yeah, that'll basically do it for my website here. I hope everyone learned something about public data and how marketing is using our public data. And if you want any more information, you can visit my website. It is sites.google.com/GAndrewsPublicData. Thank you.